try to make it out to Vegas, where the lights shine bright. Vegas, in the clear desert night. Vegas, where they can make you a star. Vegas, at the NFR.
NFR Extra is a podcast dedicated to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo and features icons and personalities that embody the Western lifestyle.
You know, I always tell them if you don't get a little bit nervous, that means it don't matter. And, singing a song like the national anthem, it's a big song, as you well know. And I really try to pray before I sing it and, get my mind right at what I'm singing about and just thinking about how important that song is. And to be able to sing it on a stage like the NFR was just unbelievable.
Hey, everybody, this is Steve Godert, and you're listening to the NFR Extra.
We are joined today on NFR Extra by Presley Barker, and Presley is quickly making a name for himself on the rodeo scene, and thanks for being here with us today, Presley.
Yes, sir. I'm happy to be a part of this, and thank you so much for asking me to talk with y'all today. Looking forward to it.
Well, obviously, since this podcast focuses a lot on the NFR, you got to sing the national anthem last year, and I want to know what that's like. What's your first-person experience getting to do that?
Yeah, I definitely count singing the anthem at the NFR this past year is definitely one of the highlights of my career so far. It was such an honor for me to get to do, and I had done anthems before at some other venues, but nothing like the NFR. And being there, being part of that crowd, and singing our anthem was truly an experience I will never forget. And it was an incredible opportunity for me, and so thankful that I was able to be a small part of it.
You have to get nervous, right? I mean, is there a Zen moment that you can kind of help calm yourself down at such a big stage?
Yeah, a lot of folks ask me about that, and I always tell them if you don't get a little bit nervous, that means it don't matter. And singing a song like the national anthem, it's a big song, as you well know, and I really try to pray before I sing it, and get my mind right at what I'm singing about, and just thinking about how important that song is to individuals and our country. If you mess that song up, everyone's going to know it. But of course, you always sing that song with a reverence and a humility about that song, and it's just so powerful. And to be able to sing it on a stage like the NFR was just unbelievable, and couldn't have been more grateful for that to happen.
I love it.
Yeah, don't mess that song up. That'd be a bad one. But man, that's right. you got to be somewhat acclimated to the big crowds and the live audience and everything, because you were just in high school when you were contestant on American Idol, were you not?
I was. Yes, I was. I was I believe I was a freshman.
Man,
when I was on Idol, and that was a great learning experience for me. Had a lot of fun doing that, and very blessed to have been able to be a part of many festivals and opportunities. And over the years I've been playing, I started playing guitar when I was 7, and I grew up singing in church my whole life. I'm 20 now. I'll be 21 in July. And, I've been very, very blessed to have the opportunity to meet a lot of folks through music and travel a lot of places. And I'm looking forward to what the next years are going to bring for sure. So that was definitely, getting back to your question, that was definitely a highlight for me. Learned a lot, met a lot of cool people during that experience. And, it's just one of those things that help you grow as an artist.
Yeah. So what was the trend going from church, singing in church and playing guitar, and country music was always kind of your passion, or was there a different direction you were thinking about going, or that was always it?
Sure. Yeah. I really started playing bluegrass music is how I first started. I was really inspired by a man named Doc Watson.
Oh, yeah.
Who was a blind guitarist that lived here in the mountains of North Carolina. And so I was really inspired by his guitar playing really early on, more in a bluegrass sense. But, my family had always listened to classic country, and I had always loved, people like Merle Haggard and George Jones and, Waylon Jennings and George Strait and a lot of those folks that make country music what it is. And, that's been a really big focus of mine to help restore some of that back on the country music scene. I think it's really gone away in the last decade, I would say, really. But I feel like there's a whole revolution of it happening right now. And I'm so lucky to be a small part of it. And so, that's definitely what inspires me to keep going. And I'm very thankful to have folks that believe in that as well. And, that's very important to me, is restoring what country music is, and happy to be a part of what's happening right now.
So what part of your music do you feel like you're most drawn to? Like, do you like to write, or is it the performance part of it? What inspires you the most?
Yeah, I would definitely say being able to connect with folks on a personal level is big for me. I've always been a performer. I guess that's what's at my heart. But I love to write too. I've really been trying to grind more of those out and try to get better, every day at that. But love to sing, love to play guitar, but really just connecting with folks and, making them feel something when I'm singing. Whatever, if it's a song that I wrote or a song that I cover from one of my favorite artists, I'm just wanting them to connect with me on a personal level, and them get something out of what I'm singing, and hopefully entertaining them. So that's kind of my goal.
So who are you listening to right now?
I guess as far as in country music right now, I would say some of my favorites would be Cody Johnson, Chris Stapleton, love his stuff, and definitely what Zach Top's doing. I think awesome. He's definitely sort of in a place that I would like to be as far as bringing this music back. And of course, Luke Combs, he's another one I enjoy listening to. A lot of his stuff I think is 90s country at the heart. Yeah. And, some of those I think are really, really doing some great things right now.
Well, you're hitting on a keynote, pun intended. We were actually having this conversation yesterday when we were riding around town here in Vegas, and there's a moment right now in country music for people who aren't afraid to be themselves, and that those artists that you just pointed out, I mean, they're going on stage and just showing everyone, hey, this is who I am, and it seems like everyone loves that genuine nature of where the music is right now.
For sure. I think that's so important. Definitely in today's time, a lot of younger guys like myself, we love the old country, and and helping to bring some of that back, and the authenticity of what those guys were singing about. It's still relevant today, and I think it's important that we don't get away from that too far and go back to the roots of what this stuff was founded on. Away off from the bro country, and I'm not saying that that's bad in any way, but I think that's kind of going away from the roots of this music, and seeing artists like that being true to themselves and having a fan base behind them that believes in them and what they're about. I hope to be a part of that someday for sure.
Well, it's funny too. You, a couple of the artists that you made mention had a similar background with the bluegrass too, like Chris Stapleton, and Zach Top as well were pretty deep in the bluegrass roots. And it's funny because, it's classic country, but that was, that was right in my age when I was growing up, was that 90s country and the 80s and 90s country. Mm-hmm. It wasn't quite so spread. Like you had, I guess what they would call, country music with your, Merle Haggard, your, George Jones, and then your outlaw country music. And now it seems that there's more venues, then you got your red dirt, you've got your classic, you've got, your modern country. It seems that they've taken that and kind of splintered out, but everything is cyclical and coming back to that classic country music. And I mean, like Andy was saying, man, I think that there's a huge appeal, and there's something about when you look, a classic cowboy, and you got starched Wrangler jeans, a denim shirt, well-shaped hat, and cowboy boots, like that ain't never going out of style. Far as I'm concerned, anyways.
I agree.
And you're from North Carolina?
I am from North Carolina. I'm from right around pretty close to where North Wilkesboro Speedway is, about 30 minutes from there. Live right at the foot of Stone Mountain State Park.
Okay.
That's country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's as country as peanut butter in Georgia. I love it.
So do you think that is there going to be like any pressure to move to Nashville or LA or one of those types of deals, or are we going to stay where we're at and stay close to our roots and go from there?
Yeah, home's always been important to me, and going back and forth to Nashville is what I've been doing here lately. But I'm hoping to be there a lot more here in the coming months, and so that's definitely I'm going to take home with me. Of course, family's real important to me, but they've always been very supportive of my career and going back and forth to Nashville and being there as much as I can and being there to be a part of that community, especially the songwriting community and folks, is really what I'm about.
Outside of the rodeo world, obviously playing at the NFR is something you checked off your bucket list, but are there other venues that you are hoping that, hey, one day I would love to play at the Ryman, or there's got to be some other places that an artist just dreams of playing?
For sure. Yeah. I had got to play the Grand Ole Opry back when I was 13 years old with Ricky Skaggs. He invited me as a special guest to be on the show with him. But I would say as an artist, I would like to have my own slot getting to play that Opry stage one night. That's always been a highlight for me, as well as the Ryman. To be an artist in my own right, to be able to play that stage would be a true honor for me. But to really go out on tour with some bigger folks and that would be another thing for me to hopefully to work myself up to play a stadium. That would be awesome for me. I would really enjoy getting to do that. And, those are some of the things and aspirations I hope to go toward. And, I'm just going to keep working hard every day to try to get there.
Let's take a quick pause, and we'll be right back. For 4 decades, the National Finals Rodeo has called Las Vegas home. The city transforms annually to honor the Western lifestyle. We know this as the NFR experience. We celebrate great champions and iconic moments while creating lasting memories, and more are on the way. We invite you to join us in Vegas for the celebration. The December tradition continues for the 40th year in Las Vegas, the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo.
Where do you feel like you draw inspiration for your music from?
I would say a lot of personal experience. Sometimes what folks say, I try to listen to what people say and see if that'll make a good song or a good hook. But I'm really, I find myself when I'm co-writing with other folks and writing and such, I would say that I draw inspiration really from my music. I've always been a really hardcore guitar player. That's what I grew up doing, playing acoustic guitar. Done that forever, seems like. And, it feels like that I just really try to come up with a cool riff or some kind of melody. That seems like what I'm more inclined to. But I love the word aspect of it too. But, a combination of those both and who I'm co-writing with really help bring out the best, I think, creative wise in both of us or whoever I'm writing with. So I enjoy all aspects of the creative process and, try to keep getting better at it.
What are you working on right now?
I'm actually working on developing a lot of more of my own original material to put into my sets and things like that. Just trying to make as much connections as I can in Nashville. And going back and forth and trying to be there as much as I can, just trying to network and meet new people. And I've been very fortunate to have met some folks, that believe in me. And, so I'm excited to see where all this goes and, looking forward to what's to come.
Is there someone that surprised you at the level of talent they had, not just as an artist, but as a musician? Because I think of different shows that I've seen, and I was flabbergasted when I watched Kid Rock one time. He played every instrument on stage, and I mean, he has this persona as a guy that's a big, crazy redneck, but I mean, he's truly a talented musician. So has there been anybody like that kind of threw a curveball and you're like, oh, I wasn't ready for that?
Well, I would say maybe somebody like Glenn Campbell. As everybody knows, he's a great songwriter, great singer. But man, that guy could play guitar. He could actually, he could play and was very proficient. And some of the stuff he played were very intricate. And, watching him, I never got to meet him or but watching his videos, whether online or whatever, when he would bust out that guitar, he meant business when he was playing it. And, I would say he's one of those people. You just wouldn't expect him to be able to do everything. And, I find that a lot, in artists today. I feel like that's something that's trying to come back. Being an instrumentalist, to be able to be a singer and be able to write songs pretty well. I think that's something that's coming back. And, I tried my best to work hard to be the best I can be. And, I think that's to something I try to strive to work for. And I've got a lot to learn, but I'm just going to keep on trucking until I hopefully get there.
Well, to that point, you're right, because another artist, Brad Paisley, there are different genres that there are people in rock that are like, no, like Brad Paisley's legit. I mean, you can give him multiple types of guitars, and this guy, he's maybe not Slash, but he can really, really play a guitar.
For sure. Yeah. I had the honor of meeting him this past year. Very good friend of mine, Wayne Henderson, makes incredible guitars and has been doing that for a very long time, and got to play his last guitar festival that he had, and Brad was there, and we got to pick a little bit, and I wouldn't be lying if I said he showed me up, but I think he did.
Yeah, if he didn't. But that's kind of the cool thing too, is, man, iron sharpens iron, and some young gun is coming down the pipe, so you got to make sure that you're bringing your A game. But man, when you're talking Glenn Campbell, that was one of the most iconic voices too. That Gentle on My Mind. I mean, it was just, that guy's unreal. There's so many great artists out there that, that paved the way for everybody else. And as you're finding your new style and, what genre and fix you're in, man, it's impressive to watch you younger guys coming up and making way for the next generation.
I just hope to be able to carry on some of that legacy of the folks that come before me, and stay true to what I grew up doing, but also have a fresh new spin on it. And so I'm looking forward to getting this thing going and doing more of that, and looking forward to what's to come in this year for sure.
I have to jump in on this one because you guys are kind of touching it just enough, but social media, how does that play into your journey specifically, just because of the genre that you are in?
Yeah, I think social media is a tool that younger people and, older people too, that have really tapped into, since it's come along. And I feel like there has been a totally a sweep, of people coming to classic country that, maybe have not grew up on it or really liked it early on, but, they'll see a video pop up in their feed and go like, hey, that's pretty cool. What is that? And, they'll look you up and start following you. And, I've been putting a lot of classic country covers here on there lately, and very, very fortunate to have a lot of them do very well. And people start to pay attention to the music. And that's what it's about for me. And so social media is a great tool to help put yourself out there and to connect with your fan base and just keep growing. And, that's something I try to do and tap into. And I think it's a great source, especially for artists to get in touch.
Well, speaking of social media, there's a lot of artists that love covering other people's songs on social media. So what do you feel like are some of your favorite covers?
I would definitely say Conway Twitty's a real fun one to cover.
Yeah.
Enjoy doing his songs. Merle Haggard, of course. Let's see, Waylon Jennings, he's another good one to cover I like to do on there. Yeah, a lot of folks enjoy that, and they'll request songs, something like George Strait or something to hear, and I love doing that. I do, and I don't put many of my original songs on there. That's something I thought about doing later, but a lot of folks enjoy listening to those covers, and I get a lot of fun out of doing it.
Yeah, that's the hard part too. Is you kind of got to be a rolling jukebox with being able to play this song, that song, and you can't just focus on your own stuff. But once you get that draw and the connection, like you're talking about, and people like your sound, and then they hear your stuff, and you get there. But that's got to be quite a bit. How many songs would you say that you can pick up a guitar and sing right now?
Oh man, that would be tough to say, but I would say probably about 300. I would say.
Wow.
Classic country songs that I know. But I wouldn't say that I know every single word of those, but I would say that I was proficient around 150 or so.
Wow.
that I would know all of them. But that is always a fun thing to get to do. I do a lot of shows and stuff that people love to hear it. And I used to play over Old Red in Gatlinburg for a long time, and those were 4-hour sets solo, and you had to have a lot of material to cover that ground. People come up and ask for songs that they want you to play, and you kind of had to learn them and know them, in case they wanted to hear them. And so that's always a fun thing to get to do. I love it.
So I would guess technology helps though too. Can you maybe use an iPad or something like that and look up the song with the notes and stuff? Does that help?
Yeah, I had never been one to use the iPad on stage. I guess I took the more old school approach on it. I don't use a phone either while I'm playing. If I miss a word, which I did a whole lot on those sets, that long doing it solo, you just try to cover it up as best as you can. But I'd go home and really try to woodshed and get those songs down and get the words in the memory bank. And so, of course you're going to make mistakes in an environment like that. But, in the end, it's about, making sure people's having a good time and yourself having a ball too. So combination of all that's really, really a good time. I enjoy it.
Well, keep it up, because I when we were talking about social media, it made me think of somebody like Charlie Crockett. Someone who just put out original stuff and again was not afraid to be himself. And now he's continuing to get larger and larger venues, and he just wears his polyester suits and travels all around the world singing his songs. So, but I'm very, very anxious and excited to hear what you have to do in the coming months and years, because it takes time, as you know, and most overnight successes, it takes 5 to 10 years to make them. So.
Right.
But no, it's been a joy to talk to you, Presley.
Well, it's been an honor to talk to y'all, and truly appreciate the opportunity, and thank you so much for the kind words, and looking forward to what the future's got to hold. And so I'm going to keep working hard on my end and try to get there. So thank y'all so much again. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. That was awesome, and best of luck to you, man.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good day.
You too.
Want to experience more of the NFR? Then visit NFRexperience.com, and we invite you to subscribe to NFR Extra on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you're listening right now. If you like what you've heard on NFR Extra, we would love it if you gave us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe.